I hope you're sat comfortably in there, in my shelter, in the warm and the dry, whilst I'm out here braving the elements. It's a Thursday evening. My usual Monday after work session has turned into a Thursday evening this week. Mainly because this time last week, I was sunning myself in Fuerteventura hunting enormous fish. Had a wonderful time away with Liam. Caught some enormous fish, which is good. And I didn't get back till really early hours of Monday morning. Couldn't quite find the energy to fish Monday. So here we are, fast forward to Thursday. Now, the main reason I've actually come out tonight is because after that crazy bonkers 27 race session, understandably, a lot of you guys, rushed down to Southbourne to have a go for the rays. Fully understand that. Rule number one of fishing, go where the fish are. I would have done the same thing. However, the conditions changed massively. Northeast winds, flat calm sea, colour dropped out of it, high pressure, it just changed enormously. So tonight, it's the first day, it's swung round to southwesterly again, it's blowing a hoolie, the weather to be outside is actually horrific, but fishing in theory should be better. So I'd just like to prove it's not just a case of rocking up to a venue and fishing, you've got to get the conditions right as well. I know we always preach these ideal, perfect conditions that might happen 3 times a year, but there's definitely conditions to avoid and conditions to look for. Southbourne Beach, and to be honest, most of the beaches along the south coast, a southwesterly wind is a lot better than a northeasterly wind this time of year. I have also got a bit of a secondary challenge, I suppose. So I'm going to see if conditions are more important than tides as well. I don't expect to catch huge amounts of rays like that last time. But we've got a rubbish tide tonight. It's a dead neap tide. It's absolutely flat. And what little tide there is going out. So I'm going to fish the runoff, the ebb, the going out tide of a neap, so a very small tide. In theory, a really pants tide to fish. But sometimes, conditions are far more important than tides. I'm hoping this good southwesterly blow we've got on will push a few fish in regardless of the tide. So it's going to be quite interesting to see on what would normally be a rubbish tide for Southbourne, whether we do actually bump into a few fish. Righty. I've picked a bay that I think, certainly at low tide, is going to be the sandbar's only about maybe 80 yards out here, which is good news. So I'm going to do the old one in, one out technique. So I've got Bagnall bar, that's going to go on my beloved Verret Syria 435, and that's going to get given the heave-ho treatment. We'll whack that as far over the top of the bar as I can. And then, of course, the flapper rig on the other rod. I've got the Penalite out again. So that's going to go on the other rod, and that's going to get chucked in that gully there. So in the sort of 50, 60 yard mark. I could even try closer, possibly try closer. But looking at the state of the sea and the fact that we are heading towards low tide, I think probably 50, 60 is going to be just about right here. Just try and read the water. It's nice if you get down on days like today when you've got a southwesterly wind, because we've got a bit of surf going on. So you can read the water a lot easier. I can see clearly where the white water's crashing over the shallow bars, and then the white water disappears as it gets into the deeper gully, and then the whiter water sort of starts up again right in the edge as it comes shallow again. So I can see shallow, deep, shallow. Nice and easy to read the tide today. Oh, read the water, sorry. Bait is just my usual squid sand eel. Nothing complicated about that. Nice little small sand eels. And I've still got a little bit of that English squid left. And I was running out. I came down to my last 3 or 4 packs in the shop, and the wonderful boys at Riot said, "Good news! More English squid coming." They said, unfortunately, it's growing. It's a little bit bigger than last time. But it's still English squid. I said, I don't really care, because we're not using it whole. We're cutting it into strips and splitting it anyway, so I don't really care too much if it has grown a little bit. So on my flapper, I've gone with a 150 gram grip lead, mainly because I found that pen is, I think 150 is at its sweet spot there. It doesn't like 175 as much as it likes the 150. And 125, or in good old English, 5 ounces is its sweet spot. 4 ounces is also beautiful, but looking at the conditions, I think I'd rather just have a 5. So that's going to be the flapper with a 150 gram or 5 ounce grip lead on the end. And I'm just going to sort of have a bit of a sand eel in this one, little squid on the other one, and then alternate on the third hook, I suppose, as we go along. On the Bagnall bar, I will do 170, so 6 ounce grip, on my Syria, because that's the lead I love for that rod for getting maximum distance. Will also help punch through this wind a little bit better. And on that, I'm going to do a little bit of a cocktail. So I'm going to do a sand eel and a little thin squid strip, easy for me to say. So a little bit of best of both worlds on a simple panel setup, so little 2.0 circle above a size 1 Camazan B950U. On the flappers, it's just straight size 1 B950Us. As always, tools for the evening will be a good quality pair of scissors. These are the Tronix Pro ones. We've got the Cedral ones as well, whichever colour you want really, they're the same scissors. The Fishy Tom bait tool, of course, essential bit of kit. I've got the long and the short there. The Baitex bait elastic, still the best bait elastic I've found on the market. This is the medium, that's my favourite. Some people like the fine, some people like the heavy. Go for it, whatever you like. Stompfed is gorgeous, obviously. And that's it. Really simple fishing, to be honest. So I'm going to bait up the flapper, launch it into the sea, then I'll bait up the Bagnall bar, launch that into the sea. We'll sit back and relax and see what happens tonight. One other bit of equipment I forgot, my baiting needle. So this is the Gemini 9-inch baiting needle, kind of a standard thing. Although I am not using worms tonight, I still like the baiting needle for baiting up the sand eels. My usual technique on this is to just top and tail my sand eel, thread your needle through, and I just find it really nice and simple then to get it up and over like that. How easy was that? Now it's up to you whether you want to apply a little bit of bait elastic at this point. People keep telling me, and I don't know when this trend has started, people keep telling me that you shouldn't use bait elastic when ray fishing. I'm sorry to those people that keep telling me that. That is one of the most gobbledygooks things I think I've ever heard. I'm quite lucky in the fact that I live in an area where we get a lot of rays. You know, I fish a really, really good ray beach, therefore I'm lucky enough to have caught an awful lot of rays in my time. I use an awful lot of bait elastic. Trust me, whoever started that rumour needs putting down, I think. It's rubbish. Why do I use the Fishy Tom bait tool? It's easier to hold, so just spear it through your bait, and then as you're elasticating, it's not spinning. So sometimes if you're, putting a bait on a baiting needle, and as you're doing this, it just spins around. This doesn't do that. Really, really super quick and simple. Just pull it out, job done. When I do a strip of squid, it's such incredibly basic fishing. So we have a strip of squid about 30 centimetres. 3 centimetres maybe. And all I do is I hook it once, turn, hook it, turn, hook it, just basically weave it on that hook. Weave it on. I don't know, I think I'll just stick with that for now. Really simple basic stuff, we can all do that, right? Okay, that's the flapper baited up. I'm going to launch that into the sea, and then we'll come back and we'll bait up the Bagnall bar. And we are fishing. I will turn you around shortly once I get this one baited up. Same as before. Thread sand eel onto canoodle. Thread that up and over, beautiful. I'm going to use my long tool, and we're going to cut ourselves a little strip of squid, same length as that there sand eel. So I reckon it's about that long. Perfecto, in fact maybe a couple of millimetres too long. Trim that down, and then all I'm going to do is I'm going to hold my tool like so. I'm going to lay my squid just alongside like so, and I'm going to start applying shelastic. Just nice and gentle, up and down. Remember not to pull, remember not to cheese wire your bait in half when you're doing bait elastic. I'm going to go up once, slight angle on the way back down. I'm going to cut slightly tighter turns down the end just to seal it off. Snap it off. Don't forget to keep hold of your elastics so you don't lose it inside the tool. Check my rod's still on there. And that's it. I've got my circle hook up the top here, which I'm just going to hook in. I like so. And that is a beautiful squid and sand eel wrap. Ready to get launched to the horizon on my Bagnall bar. There we go. Oh, hello. Oh, are we seeing this? Have we got fish or have we got weed? Wasn't really paying attention. Fish first cast, guys. I reckon. What do you reckon? Yeah, that's got to be fish, right? See if I can continue my streak of getting fish on the first cast. Oh yeah. I reckon it's almost a little bit more bassy, maybe. That just maybe a small bass. It's very bassy weather out there. Very bassy conditions. Right, so that one's gone out far. So let's put that a little bit higher because we have got some waves on the go. I'm going to bring this one straight in, I think. Just to see if it is weed or fish. Well, we've got weight. It's definitely something. We've got first cast fish. I'm going to wander down and grab it. First cast success. Interestingly, on the squid. 2 sand eels, 1 squid, fell to the squid. What is it about that English squid? They absolutely love it. There we go, it made mincemeat of that little strip of squid, didn't it? But there we go, first little small-eyed for the day. Not a big one, but not one of those tiny butterflies either, so first cast, promising signs. Let's slip her straight back. Right, I've just chucked 2 new bits of squid on that rig and left a sand eel at the top there. So I'm going to go 2 squid, 1 sand eel on this one. Both rods back in the sea. I'm going to get some spare rigs baited up just in case that goes again. It's incredible, so I'm actually roasting. I've got probably too many layers on actually. 2 days ago it was -2. It's now 13 degrees. That's like I'll say 2 degrees, sorry, yesterday it was -2. It's now 13 degrees. That's a 15-degree swing, and I've kind of dressed for yesterday. Oh. Left hand rod. That was given a good slow pull down. I don't know if you picked up that on camera. So it's unusual for wind and waves and things like that to give slow, steady pulls. Normally, you know, banging around, bouncing around, that sort of thing. So any kind of more positive, there we go again, look, more positive pull down on a sort of a slower. In fact, it's so slow, you're probably not picking that up at home, are you? Again, it's not getting dragged off into the sea. Yeah, it's definitely a fish on that. Quite convinced of it. I've got my spare flapper baited up. I've derobed mildly. I'll get the bagnall bar baited and then we'll bring that in, I think. Could it be 2 fish on my first 2 casts? Ooh, I wonder if I catch 28 tonight. Right, spare bagnall bar baited up, spare flapper ready to go. Should we get it in? Let's have a look, shall we? Okay, that's not quite as heavy as I was expecting it to be. No. In fact, that is not heavy in the slightest bit. I think I missed it. I've dropped it or missed it. It was 100% a fish. I'm convinced of that. What is this? Do you know, there's a tiny little bit of weight there. Surely it's not one of those butterfly rays. I say butterfly, I mean, you know, one of those tiny rays. Because that pulled the rod all the way over at range. Which you wouldn't have thought a little tiny one would do, but there we go. Let me go and have a look, see what it is. It absolutely was, or is, a tiny little ray. That's incredible. On the circle, look, as always. Look at the size of that. So at range, all the way out there, that still had the audacity to pull my rod over and convince me that it was something far bigger than that. It's 2 and 2, isn't it? 20 minutes in, no bites on this one again. So I'm going to recast, get fresh bait out there, and I'm going to drop it a little bit closer. Now, where it's low tide, I've only got a very thin band between where it's super shallow over the sandbar, we've got the nice deep bit, and then where it's pretty much the beach. And I just think it's going to be very, very easy tonight. If I just go a little sort of 10 yards too far, I'm going to be on top of the sandbar. So I'm just going to going to be confident. I'm going to think there's fish out there. If I haven't had a fish after 20 minutes, change distance. I don't know what I'm trying to say there. Lost the plot there, didn't I? Change distance on the cast slightly. Maybe just drop it a little bit shorter. That's the plan. But obviously not too short because I'll be on the beach. In weather like this and conditions like this as well, the fish will come really close to the beach. Rays are very much like bass. They love a bit of rough in the edge. They don't care. Right, yes, no fish on that one. Not a nibble. Right, that's better. Feel a bit more confident to that one. Felt that dropped into the deep gully there. Hopefully that'll go this time. Got a bit of a bouncy action on the right hand rod. Having just dropped that one in shorter. Nothing enormous, but hopefully another fish. Yes, let's have a quick tighten down onto that, see what we can find. Yeah, there's something on there. There's something on there. Gonna guess a little one, a little tiny one. But it did prove, dropping it closer again, produced the fish. First cast, close fish. Second cast, a smidgen further, no fish. Third cast, closer again. I'm quite convinced that's a fish. I'm quite convinced. Let's bring it in. Yes, that is a fish. It doesn't actually feel as small as I thought it was going to be. Oh yes, it does. Sorry, I don't think the grip's pulled out. I've done this before, I think. I know what I'm doing. No, it's just a tiny one, I think. Just surfing in. There we go, ray number 3. They seem to be getting smaller. What was that on? Squid again. Good old English squid. I think I'm going to buy myself about a ton of that stuff and just stash it away. There we go. Little tiny one again. Ray number 3. Love them. I don't mind catching these because, as you saw on my previous video, in amongst these are these. They're not one of those fish that just hangs around, only small ones here, only big ones there. They very much mingle in all sorts of different sizes. So I don't mind catching these because it means the rays are on the feed. Are we enjoying ourselves so far? It's amazing how just a couple of fish makes you forget about the rubbish weather. What have we learned so far? I'm sure there's loads of people out there now watching this getting really frustrated, either getting frustrated thinking that you're doing something wrong yourself or questioning me. Maybe you think I'm, I don't know, pulling porcupines, clever editing, putting many videos together into one, or I don't know. I don't know what you guys think I'm doing. But I'm not. Let's have a look at what I'm doing. The most important thing, and this is what I want to stress to you today, is the conditions. It really is. So it's a rubbish tide. I wouldn't normally choose to fish a runoff down to low tide neap. However, the conditions overrule that. So like I said, we've got this southwesterly, we've got some nice low pressure, there's a lovely sea on, it's a beautiful sea, so we've got roughened waves without the ground swell. Well, that's a key part. And it just looks really fishy, it looks really nice today. Mild as well, which is beautiful. I don't know how much that affects the actual fishing, the temperature, but it is mild, so it's much nicer to be out in. So that's the biggest thing. So to all those people out there who sort of followed my lead and rushed down here after I caught those fish, and you managed to come down sort of a week or so afterwards as it had gone northeast, freezing cold, flat, calm, gin clear, etc., and probably struggled, you weren't doing anything wrong, so don't beat yourself up. It was just the conditions changed. Always pay attention to the weather forecast, and not just the wind speed, it's the wind direction. It's hugely important. The other things I'm doing, of course, are my usual. What I do when I go fishing, I pay attention to not using baits that are too big, not using hooks that are too big. Watercraft, I mean, cannot stress how important watercraft is. So I'm trying to put my baits in the right position. I'm not just randomly chucking it out into the sea and hoping for the best. I'm looking for where the bars are, I'm looking for where the gullies are. And you can all do this. You just got to spend a little bit of time just watching the water. Sometimes I'll walk up and down the beach and I'll just stand in the bay and think, oh, I quite fancy this bay, and I'll stand there and I'll just look at the water for 5-10 minutes. Sort of see if it looks right, see if there's a decent enough gully, see if the bars are at a reachable length, that sort of thing. So yeah, a bit of watercraft, very important as well. So if you're going to take anything out of this video, conditions, most importantly wind direction, baits and watercraft. Spare rig's baited up. I'll sit back and relax for a little bit. It's not going to be as fast and frenetic as the crazy session down there, which is quite nice. I don't know if I've got the energy for that again. Are we all looking forward to Christmas? That's just around the corner. What are we, sort of 4 weeks away from it now? Oh my God, I haven't prepared anything. Yeah, what are we all hoping for? Drop it in the comments. What would we all love for Christmas this year? Obviously, a Fishy Tom bobble hat. That goes without saying. But what else would you like? I'm about to bring you back into the shelter. It's raining again. Ugh, it's miserable. Worst thing is, I've got a bite. Any chance someone could pop down and reel it in for me? This is something I don't talk about enough, isn't it? Beach shelters. They've got to be one of the most essential bits of kit, I think. You know, we live in a country where we get a lot of wind and rain, especially this time of year, especially throughout the winter. Would I be on the beach right now in this weather if I didn't have a shelter? No. So if you ask me, it's a sound investment. I will carry on enjoying my fishing all the way through the winter whilst I'm sat in my shed. If I didn't own it, I wouldn't fish anywhere near as much as I do, so I'd be missing out. That kind of puts shelters right near the top of essential bits of kit, really, doesn't it? I know it's an extravagance, they're expensive, aren't they? Especially the igloos, which in my opinion are the best. But after many, many years of faithful service, you don't look at it as expensive at the end of the day. Come on, don't be weed. Oh, well, it's heavy, whatever it is. Oh no, it's not, we're moving now. Keeps doing that to me. I think where it's low tide, breaking over the bar, I think things are just getting buried in the sand a bit. Oh, it doesn't feel like anything. Ugh. Now here in the rain, should have put my coat on. All for nothing. Nothing, and not even chewed. Hey ho, never mind. That was not worth getting wet for. I think whilst I'm out in the wet, I may as well recast this one as well. Not had any bites, but again, everything's just digging into it. No, here we go. Drag it in over the sandbar, I think. Well, have I got a fish? I don't know. No, I don't think so. Do you know what? I think I might have actually got a fish on. Peering into the wet, inky darkness. Yeah, look, I've caught fish. Who'd have thought? Would you believe it's a ray? First one I've ever caught. Let me go and rescue that from the sand. Da 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 da. That was on. If I can get it out. Let go. No, that was on sand hill. There we go. Bit of a change. Right, let me do my magic trick. Look at that. Easy 6-7 pound that one. Beauty. Give or take. Where shall I recast? Shall I go short again? Or shall I go a little bit further? I can't decide. We just started the flood, haven't we? So, are we thinking maybe those fish are going to start mooching down the gullies or maybe come over the sandbar? Shall I keep short? Usually works down here, doesn't it? It's worked so far. We've had 3 fish short, haven't we? So, got to be a big one in there somewhere. Well, that went really short as it happened. Probably a little bit shorter than I planned, but never mind. Back in the water. Time to get myself back in the shelter. Really should, if I was half sensible, put my jacket back on, but where's the fun in that? Oh no! Oh no! Oh no! Look! I'll bring that one in. Oh. We'll just bump that off. hang on, let me turn my light off, sorry. That was weird. Picked it up, weight on, bump, 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 then ping. I think they're almost sort of lifting up and surfing in with the waves a little bit, which is kind of playing havoc with the fight. Oh, no, donk. There we go. So that was that cast that I actually cast a bit too close. Just goes to show, doesn't it? Another one. Another little baby one. They're like peas in a pod, these little things at the minute. But that was only out there for 5 minutes tops. So they're definitely close range. So I'm going to keep with the close range rod, I think, on that one. And hopefully bump into a better size one at some point. Isn't it incredible that that tiny little ray gave that bite? Proper wraparound bite. That's a bit of fishy action again. Whee! Smack. Love them. Love it, love it. I know it's a little one, so I'm going to be a bit daring and just let it be for a minute. Let's see if we can get a double or triple shot, shall we? Well, it's still banging around. I've given it another sort of 5 minutes or so. Got a sneaky suspicion it might just be the one. It might just be the one really enthusiastic, very small ray, but you never know. Come on now, just bring it in. Oh, I don't know, bit of weight there, bit of weight. Come on, what are we calling? 1 or 2, guys, 1 or 2. Should we walk down? I haven't actually walked you down on any yet, have I? Let's, oh, swimming right towards me now. Right, where is it? Oh, gone all out there now. There it is, there it is. No, it's just the one and it's small. What? That was embarrassing. I'll edit that bit out. There we go, another small ray. That... Yeah, I'm not convinced. I'm sure there was something else on there then. Oh, on a sand eel again, look. Second one on the eel. The smallest one of the day as well, look at it. It's about 2 weeks out the purse, that one. There we go. That was definitely not the fish I thought it was. While you're there, I'm going to go and get my other rig, and I'll just show you again just how gently I'm casting. I'm back, right, here we go. So, a freshly baited 3-hook flapper. I have to stand back over here so I don't take the camera out, but all I'm doing is literally just a little flick and plop. How easy is that? Time has flown tonight, it's just gone 10. So I've decided these 2 casts are going to be my last casts. So I'm going to pack away my spare rigs and yeah, have a little pack down after this one. So give it another 15-20 minutes tops and then make our way. Which is annoying because the rain has now stopped, the wind is completely gone, it's actually a beautiful evening. But unfortunately I've got to work tomorrow. Otherwise I'd be here till midnight or something crazy. Come on, ladies and gentlemen. As we speak, I'm on 9,857 subs. I really wanted to try and get to 10,000 before the end of the year, so 143 to go. It's just slowed up a little bit. Come on, guys. If you're watching and if you enjoy, hit the sub button, please. It doesn't cost you anything. It just means I get to my target and I won't be grumpy if on December the 31st I'm on 9,999. One other thing you may have noticed, I've started a new website. It's very much in its embryotic stages, shall we say, so I've only just started putting it together. So it looks a bit basic at the minute, but fishytom.com, which has got a ring to it, I think. But basically I wanted to try and just whack a load of the products that I use in my videos. So there's not a huge amount of product on there. And in fact, I'm sort of adding more pretty much on a daily basis at the minute, so it will be growing. But all the little bits and bobs that I use in my videos are just going to be on the website, and you'll see underneath the videos now, there'll be little links. So as you're watching it, you think, oh, I fancy that, and you can just click on the little link on the video. So hopefully it'll make it a little bit easier for you guys to grab the bits and pieces that I use in my videos. But yeah, so that's a bit of a work in process, but it is up and running as we speak. It's already got various things, obviously bagnal bars, it's got my Fishy Tom glued rig bodies, it's also got things like my bait tools, it's got the Stomfo bait station, there's all the bits and bobs that I genuinely use myself are on there ready to go. So check that out, have a little look in the links underneath, or go on fishytom.com. It's a work in progress though, so bear with it. I think I've drawn a blank on my last casts. I have. Rubbish. Diddly squat. And let's have a quick lift into this. Whilst I'm here. Oh, blimey. Oh, there we go. He's getting stuck in the sandbar, I think. And nothing on that one either. Oh, well. We'll save the worst till last, shall we? That's how we do it, isn't it? There we go. That's just a little simple after work one tonight. Nice to catch. What did I get? 5, 6 rays? All small. But you know what? I don't care. I love catching fish and I love catching rays, so I'm not disappointed. Especially after the sessions I've had recently. Can't really complain, can I? Hopefully a few things for you guys to think about. That was the main thing. The main reason why I wanted to pop out tonight. A change of conditions I knew would bring the fish back in. So always have a look at things like wind directions and the conditions and things like that. Very, very important for fishing. But there we go. Until the next time, like I said, don't forget to hit the old like and subscribe. Whack some comments in as well. I always like to read the comments and I try and reply to as many as I can. So there we go. On to the next one. I don't know what I've got planned for next week. Probably come ray fishing down Southport. But there we go. I shall catch you guys on the next one. Nothing.